During the latest seasons of Gold Rush, something happened that caught fans completely off guard. It wasn't the addition of a lucrative new claim or the arrival of $1 million piece of equipment. It was far more personal. The faces that once stood beside Parker Schnabel, his trusted crew, were disappearing one by one. For the first time in years, the young Klondike mining prodigy appeared isolated. Parker had often explained that he and his crew had different approaches, different ways of working, managing, and leading under the relentless pressures of Yukon mining. On paper, this sounded simple, but in reality, it marked the beginning of a profound shift in one of the most successful mining operations in the show's history. First, Parker lost his longtime mentor, Gene Cheeseman, a veteran miner whose calm, seasoned guidance had been invaluable. Then his loyal right-hand man, Rick Ness, departed to strike out on his own, eventually becoming a competitor. Chris Dummett, the steady presence who had acted as the emotional anchor of the crew, also left, followed later by Mitch Blaschke, the mechanical genius who kept the machines running. Each loss chipped away at the foundation of Parker's empire. What was once a tight-knit, high-functioning team began to unravel. Parker's story cannot be told without understanding his origins. Born into gold mining royalty, he inherited the legendary Big Nugget mine from his grandfather, John Schnabel. John's old-school instincts and deep knowledge of the land set the stage for Parker's success. Taking over at 16, Parker was initially underestimated, but his relentless ambition transformed the family mine into a powerhouse. By his mid-20s, he had mined tens of millions of dollars worth of gold, a staggering achievement by any standard. Yet with great success came immense pressure. Parker became responsible for massive equipment fleets, multi-million-dollar operations, and the livelihoods of older, seasoned crew members. The Yukon is unforgiving, and every idle hour cost significant sums. Even small errors could trigger massive setbacks. The combination of long hours, extreme conditions, and high stakes tested the limits of loyalty. Crew departures had been an ongoing challenge. Some, like Jeremy LeBlanc, quit almost immediately, citing the relentless pace. Others, like Denise, clashed with the team and left. But the departure of Rick, Chris, and Mitch marked a turning point. Rick, Parker's former right-hand man, leaving to become a competitor was especially painful. This was no ordinary departure. It represented the loss of a trusted confidant, a collaborator who had now crossed the line to become a competitor.
Arrival was both a professional and personal blow. Chris, the heart of the crew, joined Rick later, amplifying the sense of loss. And Mitch's quiet exit, seeking a normal life and family time, left Parker personally and operationally exposed. Gene Cheeseman's earlier departure had foreshadowed these struggles. Gene, a veteran miner with decades of experience, brought structure and patience, yet clashed with Parker's fast-paced, results-driven approach. Their differences, rooted in contrasting philosophies of mining and leadership, eventually led to irreparable tension. Gene walked away, signaling a pattern that would repeat with future crew members. Parker had to rebuild from scratch. The solution lay in recruiting a new generation of miners, hungry, skilled, and willing to work relentlessly in the Yukon's unforgiving conditions. Brennan Rualt returned, bringing experience, problem-solving skills, and leadership that balanced Parker's intensity. Alongside Brennan, miners like Tyson Lee injected energy and ambition into the crew. With the rebuilt team, Parker adopted innovative strategies. Key changes included profit-sharing arrangements, turning employees into partners, giving them a tangible stake in the mine's success. This approach fostered loyalty, reduced turnover, and created a sense of shared purpose. Parker also became more hands-on, taking on mechanical tasks himself, repairing machines, and leading by example. Technology became a central pillar of operations. Ground-penetrating radar, advanced drilling systems, and digital mapping allowed Parker to locate gold more efficiently than ever before, blending traditional mining instincts with modern data-driven methods. This combination of experience, new talent, and cutting-edge tools transformed the operation into a well-coordinated, highly efficient system. Sulphur Creek tested the new approach. Brennan's leadership ensured efficiency, problem-solving, and team cohesion. Machines ran at full capacity, tailings were managed expertly, and untouched gold pockets were exploited. The balance between Parker's drive and Brennan's steady guidance allowed the crew to overcome challenges that would have overwhelmed previous teams. Parker's goal for the season, 10,000 ounces of gold, was ambitious, but the rebuilt team's cohesion, skill, and determination made it achievable. Every decision, every ounce of gold,
And every repaired machine was a testament to the combination of leadership, teamwork, and resilience. Parker evolved from a relentless, sometimes solitary young boss into a thoughtful leader who earned loyalty, delegated effectively, and integrated experience with innovation. The final weeks of Season 16 showcased this evolution. Brennan's return proved critical. His guidance allowed the crew to navigate breakdowns, flooding, and harsh conditions with precision. Parker's hands-on involvement in the profit-sharing system solidified loyalty and productivity. By leveraging both traditional mining knowledge and advanced technology, Parker's team achieved record production. In the end, Parker Schnabel emerged not just as a gold miner, but as a strategic, resilient leader. Season 16 was a story of redemption, evolution, and human endurance. The empire he rebuilt, stronger than ever, was a testament to the power of adaptability, teamwork, and vision. Parker had turned past losses into lessons, and the combination of experienced leadership, fresh talent, and technological innovation ensured his legacy would continue in the Yukon for years to come.
Previous seasons, where tension and high turnover had threatened productivity, the crew's dynamic now revolved around collaboration rather than competition. Parker had learned from the departures of Rick, Chris, and Mitch that success hinged on trust and shared responsibility, not just raw ambition. By giving key miners a stake in the gold profits, he effectively transformed them from employees into partners. This approach not only motivated the crew, but also created a sense of shared accountability. When the mine thrived, everyone benefited. When challenges arose, everyone felt the weight together. Technology played a pivotal role in this evolution. Gone were the days of relying solely on instinct and experience. Parker integrated advanced tools such as ground-penetrating radar, precise drilling equipment, and real-time mapping software to locate rich pay streaks efficiently. Where older methods could mean wasted days of digging, these innovations allowed the crew to focus on the most productive zones, minimizing downtime and maximizing gold recovery. This blend of modern tech with traditional experience gave Parker a significant advantage over both his competitors and his previous self. Sulphur Creek became the ultimate proving ground for this new era. The site had a long, storied history, littered with old tailings and overlooked pockets of gold. Digging here required not only physical endurance, but also careful strategy. Brennan took charge of planning each cut, ensuring the team moved soil efficiently while avoiding potential flooding or mechanical failure. Parker, hands-on as ever, was not just directing operations. He was troubleshooting hydraulic lines, welding damaged components, and literally getting in the mud alongside his crew. This dual approach, strategic oversight coupled with hands-on leadership, created a morale boost that had been missing in previous seasons. Challenges came in waves. A sudden thaw threatened to flood several key sections, forcing the crew to construct emergency drainage channels overnight. Hydraulic failures struck at the most inconvenient moments, and even minor mistakes could cascade into costly delays. Yet the combination of Parker's relentless energy, Brennan's steady problem-solving, and the fresh team's drive allowed the operation to stay on track. Each member of the crew knew their role, understood the stakes, and worked in unison, a stark contrast to the high turnover chaos of past seasons. By mid-season, the results were unmistakable. The mine was hitting consistent pay dirt, the sluices were running efficiently, and gold yields were steadily climbing. Parker's ambitious 10,000-ounce target, once thought almost impossible, suddenly felt within reach. But even with these successes, Parker's growth as a leader was the season's most remarkable story. He he had transitioned from a demanding, solitary boss to a leader who valued input, fostered loyalty, and recognized the limits of pushing people too far. The mistakes that had cost him Gene, Rick, Chris, and Mitch became lessons that shaped his approach to managing people, machines, and expectations. The human element remained critical. The new miners, although technically skilled, were inexperienced in the Yukon's extreme conditions. Brennan became the bridge between Parker's high standards and the crew's developing expertise. He taught the young miners not just how to operate equipment, but how to anticipate problems, think critically, and maintain composure under stress. Parker's willingness to trust Brennan and the young crew, combined with the profit-sharing model, fostered loyalty, camaraderie, and a level of resilience that had been missing in previous seasons. As the season approached its climax, every ounce of gold recovered became a testament to the operation's new cohesion. Parker was still the same relentless miner who had taken over Big Nugget Mine at 16, but now he paired his drive with strategic thinking, hands-on problem-solving, and a collaborative leadership style. The Yukon, unforgiving and unpredictable, could no longer throw challenges at Parker that the crew couldn't handle. Together, they faced storms, mechanical breakdowns, and the constant pressure of meeting ambitious targets. One pivotal moment came when a previously overlooked section of Sulphur Creek revealed an exceptionally rich vein of gold. The discovery demanded immediate coordination. Machines had to be repositioned, tailings cleared, and the crew organized for maximum efficiency. Brennan orchestrated
efforts seamlessly, while Parker led from the front, ensuring that the operation ran like clockwork. This moment was emblematic of the season: experience, teamwork, and strategy converting potential chaos into record-breaking productivity. By the end of Season 16, Parker Schnabel's story had evolved from one of raw ambition and relentless pressure to one of strategic brilliance, leadership growth, and team resilience. The departures of past crew members had been painful, but ultimately instrumental in shaping a more effective, cohesive, and loyal team. Brennan's return proved critical, not just for technical skill, but for stabilizing the operation and mentoring a new generation of miners. Parker's rebuilt empire, fortified by technology, profit-sharing, and a collaborative leadership approach, achieved remarkable results. The ambitious 10,000-ounce goal was not only within reach, it became a symbol of the young miner's evolution into a seasoned leader capable of blending experience, innovation, and human insight. Season 16 was more than just a gold mining story. It was a narrative about resilience, redemption, and the power of adapting leadership to meet extraordinary challenges. Parker had learned that in the Yukon, gold is measured not only in ounces, but in the trust, loyalty, and collective effort of a well-led team. By the season finale, Parker had not only solidified his legacy as one of the most influential miners in the Yukon, but had also demonstrated that true success is built on adaptability, vision, and the ability to learn from past mistakes. His empire was stronger than ever, a testament to the enduring lessons of leadership, teamwork, and the relentless pursuit of excellence in one of the harshest environments on Earth. As the Yukon season wore on, the rhythm of life at Sulphur Creek became grueling yet precise. Each day began before sunrise, with the crew braving temperatures that could plunge well below freezing. The sound of diesel engines firing up, metal clanking against metal, and the roar of sluice boxes filled the camp before breakfast. Parker, hands still shaking off sleep, would walk the site, checking on each operation, every excavator, bulldozer, and rock truck. The machines were massive, temperamental, and unforgiving, but Parker treated them like an extension of his team. Mechanical failure was a problem to solve, not a delay to accept. Brennan Ruwalt quickly became the backbone of the operation. While Parker focused on high-level strategy, he relied on Brennan to manage the daily grind. Brennan's calm demeanor was a counterbalance to Parker's intensity. He could look at a flooded cut, broken conveyor, or misaligned sluice and immediately plan a solution.
This allowed Parker to focus on pushing production forward without letting chaos take over. When new miners faltered under the pressure, Brennan was there to coach them patiently, showing them how to read the ground, anticipate equipment issues, and understand the mechanics of gold extraction. Tyson Lee and the other younger miners learned fast. They were driven, ambitious, and eager to prove themselves, but the Yukon doesn't forgive mistakes. One mishap could destroy equipment, flood a cut, or delay the operation for hours. Brennan and Parker both emphasized precision and communication. When a hydraulic hose failed on one of the D10 bulldozers, Parker immediately jumped in, working side by side with the crew to replace it in sub-zero conditions. By the end of the day, the young miners were not just competent, they were confident. Profit sharing added a new layer of motivation. Every ounce of gold had direct consequences for everyone's paycheck. Brennan, Tyson, and the other key miners weren't just following orders, they were invested. This created a culture of accountability that Parker hadn't fully achieved with previous crews. Mistakes weren't punished, they were analyzed and corrected, and everyone shared in the success when a rich pocket of gold was discovered. Challenges remained constant. Sudden rainstorms would melt patches of frozen ground, creating mud so deep that bulldozers risked getting stuck. Hidden rocks could tear through hydraulic lines. Tailings from previous mining seasons often contained unexpected debris, slowing excavation. But the crew's adaptability became their greatest strength. Parker and Brennan would huddle over maps and radar scans, planning cuts strategically to maximize efficiency while minimizing risk. A particularly tense moment came when a newly identified pay zone revealed gold running deeper than anticipated. Machines had to dig at precarious angles, risking both equipment and worker safety. Parker made the decision to slow production slightly, allowing Brennan to reconfigure the operation for maximum stability. It was a textbook example of how Parker had evolved. He still demanded results, but he now understood that reckless speed could destroy months of work. The payoff was immediate. The revised cut yielded richer gold than anyone expected, proving that strategy and patience could outpace sheer force.
Were undeniable. Sulphur Creek was producing consistently, and gold totals were climbing week by week. Parker's 10,000-ounce goal was no longer a distant dream. It was becoming a tangible target. The camaraderie within the crew had strengthened. Jokes and laughter now punctuated the long days of digging and hauling. Even the youngest miners felt ownership of the operation, and their growing expertise meant that Parker and Brennan could focus on long-term strategy rather than firefighting every issue. The human element remained as critical as the machinery. Parker often spent evenings around the campfire with his team, discussing the day's successes and challenges. He emphasized that every ounce of gold was a result of collective effort, and the crew's trust in him had grown significantly compared to past seasons. The ghosts of departed friends, Rick, Chris, Mitch, were never far from mind, serving as reminders of how leadership and loyalty could shape an operation's success. As the final weeks approached, production ramped to its peak. The crew worked longer shifts, optimizing machinery use and strategically tackling untouched pay zones. Brennan's guidance ensured that operations remained safe and efficient, while Parker's relentless energy drove them forward. Ground-penetrating radar and precise mapping allowed the team to focus on the richest areas, reducing wasted effort and dramatically increasing gold yields. Finally, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. The last cleanup of the season. Machines roared, water sluiced, and miners worked with surgical precision to recover every last nugget. As the gold was counted, it became clear that Parker had done it. His rebuilt empire had achieved what many thought impossible.
The 10,000-ounce milestone had been reached. Celebration erupted across the camp, but amid the triumph, Parker reflected quietly. This success wasn't just about gold. It was about resilience, leadership, and rebuilding something stronger from the ashes of past departures.
On Earth, his rebuilt crew, led by the experienced Brennan Ruwalt and fueled by the ambition of a new generation, ensured that Parker's legacy would endure. The season wasn't just a story of gold, it was a story of growth, resilience, and the unyielding human spirit that thrives even in the harshest conditions. As the season neared its climax, the tension at Sulphur Creek was palpable. Months of relentless digging, grueling labor, and constant adaptation had brought the crew to this moment, but the Yukon does not give up its riches easily. The snow was beginning to thaw in patches, turning trails into muddy quagmires, and machinery was running at the edge of its endurance. Every hour, every ounce mattered. Parker and Brennan walked the claim daily, boots sinking into mud, eyes scanning the flow of the wash plant and the alignment of the sluices. The operation had become a finely tuned machine, but perfection in the Yukon is always temporary. Brennan's experience proved invaluable during the final stretch. A sudden flood threatened to submerge one of the richest cuts yet discovered. While the younger miners scrambled to divert water with improvised channels, Brennan calmly directed the operation, making sure the machines weren't damaged and the gold-bearing dirt was preserved. Parker's instinct had been to push forward at full speed, but Brennan's steady judgment prevented disaster. Together, they balanced urgency with strategy, an approach Parker had never fully mastered in his earlier seasons. The crew, energized by the shared goal and profit-sharing incentives, worked with synchronized precision. Each miner knew their role, and their trust in Parker and Brennan was evident. The young recruits, once tentative and uncertain, now moved with the confidence of seasoned operators. Every shovel of dirt, every turn of a dozer, and every sluice adjustment brought them closer to the coveted 10,000-ounce milestone. Mistakes were met with quick corrections and lessons, not frustration, a cultural shift that Parker had embraced. Midway through the final push, a breakthrough occurred. A previously overlooked section of tailings revealed a rich vein of gold. Machines had to dig at risky angles, and the dirt was heavy, clay-filled, and resistant. But the crew, guided by Brennan's strategic planning and Parker's determination, managed to extract the gold without incident. The vein proved richer than anticipated, sending a surge of excitement through the camp. For Parker, it was a moment of vindication. Proof that his rebuilt approach, combining technology, experience, and loyalty, was paying off. The final cleanup days were a blur of activity. Machines operated around the clock, and miners worked tirelessly to recover every ounce of gold. Parker, usually overseeing operations, was hands-on, climbing into excavators, welding broken equipment, and ensuring that no opportunity was wasted. Brennan coordinated drainage, sluice flow, and the timing of machinery to maximize efficiency. The synergy between the two leaders had transformed the operation into one of the most productive in Gold Rush history. Finally, the moment of reckoning arrived. The gold was counted, and the numbers were staggering. Parker had not only reached, but exceeded his ambitious 10,000-ounce goal. Celebration erupted, but it was tempered by reflection. Parker knew the journey to this point had been forged through loss, learning, and adaptation. The ghosts of Rick, Chris, Mitch, and even Gene loomed in memory, reminders of the human cost behind every ounce of gold. Yet their absence had forced Parker to evolve into a more thoughtful, strategic, and resilient leader. The crew's reaction was immediate and heartfelt. Brennan's return had proven transformative. The younger miners were proud of what they had accomplished and grateful for the trust Parker had placed in them. For Parker, the season's success wasn't just about gold. It was a testament to leadership, collaboration, and the ability to learn from past mistakes. The milestone represented the culmination of years of experience,
technological investment, and an unyielding commitment to his vision. In a rare moment of reflection, Parker addressed the crew around the campfire. He spoke